snap! I forgot to take the thing off. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to the Wingin podcast. Andre, how you doing, man?
I mean, look, this summer heat is unbearable, but otherwise, I'm good.
Sir.
Listen, I know you in Florida, and you got swamp down there. We got swamp here too. So trust me when I say we dealing with the muggy, hot, wet air that feels like it's just collapsing in on top of your lungs, and especially if you asthmatic like me. Oh hell no!
Yeah, you asthmatic. You might well just stay in the house.
Just stay in the house.
Just stay in the house.
The air is as clear as possible.
Yeah, because I was in Georgia last weekend and memories. So, Jack, how you doing, man?
Hey, look, I'm trying to survive out here, man. I had to cut the grass for like the second time this damn week, and yeah, I mean, Florida is Florida. It's lost the tropical title. It's not tropical no more, man. It's not.
You gonna go outside, you can cut the yard. It's gonna rain one day and the junk gonna be back to 6 feet tall.
And you joking.
Yeah.
Dead ass serious. That's how it goes.
Dude. Your grass gonna be out there playing basketball, dunking and everything.
Yeah.
Boy,
like I just cut the grass.
Just cut this doggone grass.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, chat, everybody that's showing up. What's up?
Yeah, how is everybody doing in the chat? Thank you guys for showing up. First things first, BIPOC Stream Awards round 3 voting is underway. It ends July 5th, so make sure you go over to the BIPOC Stream Awards website. If you haven't got your votes in yet for round 3, please do so because it does end on July 5th, and that's Friday. This coming Friday, so make sure you do that. So this is our annual 6 months in show. So it's June 30th. Fittingly, we are 6 months into the year. So we're gonna start with Sony because we're fanboys. So
yeah, Nintendo should be like Sony. You see it?
We fanboys, so we starting with Sony. At least that's what I was accused of because somebody didn't like my poll. C'est la vie. All right, so for me personally, Sony has not pissed me off yet. I know people are upset. Mm-hmm. I do, but unless they don't show anything at Tokyo Game Show, which I don't think that's gonna happen. I think they're gonna show something at TGS. I'm not waving the flag that they're dead. Now, could they have done something a little bit better? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that last state of play was kind of rough to get through. I ain't gonna lie.
Right.
It was kind of rough to get through.
Fighting not to fall asleep.
But
like the highlights.
Yeah. But I was like, it wasn't like I'll put it like this. I've seen worse. I think we've all seen worse.
100%.
Yeah, so it wasn't like, I'm not finna put the death nail in them. I do think that a couple of their titles they probably should have put to PS. Look, if you got a PS4 Pro like I do, they can play most of these games. Let's not kid ourselves, all right? And I think like a game like Stellar Blade, they probably should.
They should have put it on.
They should have put it on PS4. They should have because you have the bigger. That is the bigger install base right now. Mm-hmm. And yes, I understand you're trying to get people to buy PS5s. I understand that, but you ain't making no money, and these games cost too much.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you raise the price on the console, it's like I don't understand that. But yeah, I mean, I get it for some of the, I guess you could say Sony fans. They want Sony to force everybody over to PS5. That's supposed to be a natural progression.
You can't force people. Not in this economy. Not in this economic time. You can't force somebody to do nothing. You try to force somebody, they'll be looking at you like, okay, like.
Because, I mean, there may be I can probably think off the top of my head 1 or 2 things from any game that's like, yo, it needed the PS5 for that. Yeah. There's maybe 1 or 2, and that's not enough for anybody to move from a PS4. Mm-mm. Especially if you got the Pro, like you said. I mean, you're good. You're sitting money right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I hate to be that guy, but it's the truth. I'm like, this has not been. People think that this generation has been like this huge graphical leap. It hasn't.
It wasn't at all. Like not even close.
the worst part is that things would look better if developers stopped using engines that fight against the natural flow of how the console was made.
Yeah.
So if you're using the same engines that are going to process things the same way, that's going to order your coding the same way, and it's not what's congruent with what the system does, make much of a difference anyway.
Right.
Yeah. Now, of course, the other thing that I think is probably, and this goes for all three of them, honestly, and that's live service games. This stuff needs to stop.
Yeah, those need to be dropped now. Those really need to drop.
I get one or two, but
I don't even get that.
just like roguelites, it's getting to be a problem because, like, I'll give an example: Helldivers. Like Helldivers, like when this came out, people were loving it.
Yeah.
But now it's had what, a 80% drop.
They said what 98%.
Oh yeah. So because like you don't have enough content to keep, you got to have content to keep drawing because people's attention spans are like this now.
Very small.
So yeah, like bro, if you don't have a single player mode or you ain't got nothing, like if it ain't like with roguelikes, the best one in my opinion was Hades. And that did enough stuff because it fed off Greek mythology. It did enough to keep it interesting. But a lot of those roguelikes, I just be like, this is boring,
Yeah. Or even they're so daunting to know that, like, man, I made it this far and I got to start over. I'm not trying to go.
I'm not trying to do that. Yeah. So in the case of like Helldivers, I'm just sitting there like, if you don't have a team of people to play with, you're probably not going to have a good time.
Right. And I think that's the key thing too. So if I'm thinking about, if you want to do the live service game, I'd say out of the three, they should have one per company, right?
Yeah.
Nintendo should have one to rely on Microsoft or Sony. Now, if you do that, you have to depend on multiplayer in the sense that you have to depend on people that, one, have friends that want to play. Two, if you don't have friends to play, you want to throw yourself into that big cesspool of people that do COD, that do 2K, that are very toxic when it comes down to playing games. For something very simple, like I was playing, was it Poker Star VR the other day? I wasn't even in the room 2 seconds and somebody was getting called a bitch. I was like, but we're playing poker or either blackjack or slots. Like, I wasn't even here 2 seconds. I don't know how you manage that, but you have to make these environments comfortable for, one, kids to come into, but then also two, for people to say, you know what, I don't mind linking up with a random to go in here and play. We both new to this game. The game made it to where, as randoms, we are both at this very novice level, so we're gonna struggle through this together. Opposed to like, hey, let's just throw everybody in the pool, and when that one person that plays the game religiously gets with people he don't want to play with because they just started, it draws people away from multiplayer. So then the live service games don't work. And then even when you talk about live service games, you got to keep drawing money from people. So when we think about like the World of Warcrafts, even I put Sims in a category. Like, I think that's where EA messed up big time, because I think what their DLC for Sims 4 is ranging over $1,000 at this point now.
Yeah, so close to it. Yeah, it's
like,
close to it.
You gotta one, make it enticing, and then two, make it affordable. Like, if I say, you know what, I enjoyed the base game so much that I'm gonna give you some more money because you keep supporting this game, you're counting on a group that wants to be like that new WoW group or that new group that plays League of Legends. That's a very small group, and that's usually PC. Very rare is it a console game that people will say, you know what, I'm sticking with this for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. At this point, I see. I don't say it's doom and gloom with Sony, because Sony's fan base gonna always keep them alive. Like, they're gonna keep them afloat. But in reality, I mean, when we talk about games, I get these companies want to continue to churn out these big games and make profit off of it. But for me, if I'm Sony and I say, you know what, let's say our biggest game was Spider-Man 2 or God of War. All right, how much did we make? All right, that next game is going to be under that as far as budget is concerned, because now we know this should more or less be our marker of what we think our games are going to make going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's being reasonable.
Yeah, true. I'm trying to help them out.
See, what they need is more games that have a budget within the range of 20 to 30 million being the max that they spend
Right.
to put the games together. But since they introduced this hardware that they still don't know how to use, they've blown their own budgets up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
You should
that's
not
gonna be on
have
them.
video games should not have $200 million budgets. They just shouldn't.
No.
I mean, because that's why the thing. That's why I brought up Stellar Blade, because like people were saying it hadn't sold to me. I'm like, it's only been 2 months, but people are expecting to get that, Justice League, Avengers money, because they make their money in 2 weeks. I'm like, that don't happen for no video game. That has never.
It's not a constant thing for video games now.
I'm like, even Call of Duty, then they make a lot of money in that first month, but it ain't what it used to be.
No.
And the sad thing about that is, as much money they spend on advertising and all that, that's not the profit that they getting. Like, so it's getting even smaller.
You think though, like at this point, they'd realize that they don't have to spend that advertising on Call of Duty. All they have to do is mention that they're making a new game.
That's pretty much all.
And it advertises itself because the people that play it will talk about it.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like what they did with Ghost, where they just basically reused maps, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me as far as like getting it, because I'm like, I just played this map in Modern Warfare 2. Why is this still here?
Mm-hmm.
And you just trying to tell me that this is all brand new maps? That's a lie. Mm-hmm. That's why, like, now they don't even lie about it. They just be like, "No, and we're bringing back this map, and we're bringing back that," because they got called out on it.
All they had to do was at first just be upfront and say, "Okay, we're reusing these maps, but we'll just say we're adding elements to it." But they didn't do that.
Yeah,
they didn't do that. But so I want to get you guys' thoughts on what was, from the Sony side of things, from Sony camp, what was your game that you enjoyed, and what was the game you think got unnecessary hate? So, game that you love and a game that got unnecessary hate.
Game that I love, Astrobot, offhand. And I will say game that got hate, was it is it called Concord?
Oh, Concord,
yeah. Yeah. So I get it. People kind of burnt down on hero shooters.
Yeah.
Give it a chance. I mean, I hear people all the time complaining that Sony doesn't provide multiplayer. Give them a chance. They at least make it work. Just give them a shot. And it looks decent. It looks like it could be something. I mean, similar to like Xbox's Fragpunk. Like, they look like they could be something different in that realm and in that space. And just give it a shot.
Yep. All right, Andre, what about you?
I mean, if I'm keeping a 100%, I haven't touched anything Sony that isn't on any other platform, so I can't really give an answer for that. At least as far as what I love. Now, what I think has gotten some unceremonious hate is recently, and that's literally Stellar Blade.
Yeah, that one's weird. I don't get that one, because that's a month worth of sales and it hit 1 million. What's the problem?
I think it's just that because people hyped the game up so much, they assumed that it was going to just sell in astronomical numbers. One, it's a game similar in styling to Bayonetta that's slightly slower than Bayonetta.
Right.
So you shouldn't expect it to do crazy numbers. On top of that, it was a Korean team that wasn't even that big. So they didn't spend a whole bunch of money on actual development of this game.
Right.
So if Shift Up said they turned a profit and the game is doing well for them, it did better than they expected, I see no reason to be upset.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that one, because Stellar Blade was my one that I think got unnecessary hate, especially from the whole outfit thing at the beginning. That just pissed me off, because I'm like, it's an M-rated game. If it's an M-rated game, that means people 17 and up supposed to be playing it. Not so if you sitting up here trying to say oh, the children ain't got no business playing that game.
They shouldn't be playing it. No.
Yeah, the children shouldn't be playing. So why are you complaining?
Yeah.
So that was mine. Now the game that I did enjoy, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. It
I
does
heard
have
of
its
it too.
issues. It does have its issues. Like there's sometimes when you're like doing a special and you can't tell what the hell's going on. It's just particle effects everywhere, dude. It's like, okay, I can't see nothing. But I did see the light bar move down. They made sure I saw that. But yeah, I actually enjoyed that game.
Okay.
I do like the anime, so I'm gonna tell the truth. I am a little bit biased. Because I did love the anime that it came out with.
Right.
But I also enjoyed the game for what it is. And I'm having a good time. So plus I know a few of those characters, so I'm just having a good time just playing around with the character selection and all of that. So yeah, but Stellar Blade is that one that I do think got unnecessary hate, and I do like Grand Blue Fantasy. Now the problem is, and we're gonna have the same problem when we go over to Microsoft as well. Third party heavy, not first party heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's a game in here that I think got unnecessary hate, but it's on every platform, and I'm gonna save that for the end.
Okay.
But I do think that, like I said, I think Sony's fine right now. Honestly, I do think they need to just say to hell with this PS5 only mess. We got to make money. We PS4 as well.
Yeah.
Because some of these games can play on it. We need to stop the lying about, this can only be played on PC. No, it can't. No.
Unless it is something that the controller specifically does,
and
there's no reason.
And can we be real for 1 second? Them developers don't use that.
They don't.
They don't. So
I think that's another thing that shot Sony in the foot too.
Yeah.
If you think about how many controllers they sold for the PS4, and then you tell me, nah, you can't bring them unless you're playing PS4 games.
Yeah.
Like, are you serious?
That makes sense.
But then at that point, you already got the PS5 with the PS5 controller. So what's the point?
Yeah.
But my thing is like, if okay, so like for example, right? If like I had a PS4 with my boys, we would love to do multiplayer. Can't do it unless I go and get some more PS5 controllers. And it's like that would have been an easy fix because their main thing was, we want people to experience the DualSense. Most people turn those features off. One, because sometimes they're just kind of misplaced, but at the same time, it's a battery killer, and we already know the controller batteries are already trash.
Yep.
Their batteries have been trashed since the doggone PS.
Yeah.
The PS3 was the last good one they had. Because
Yeah.
look, I have not used my PS4 controller since the first week after I bought it. I went and got a third party controller because that battery lasts longer.
Yeah,
that's sad.
So yeah, but I will say one thing Nintendo and Microsoft got right about the whole controller issue: you can bring your controllers over.
Yeah,
and I'm like, thank you.
That's the beauty of it.
I don't have to do that. Like that's
Especially if you're talking about these specialty controllers. Like, imagine paying $150 to $200 for PS4, scuff controller, and then like, nah,
you can't use it.
Nah,
you can't use it.
Like
that's $150 paperweight at this point. Now.
At that point, that's when you be like, the hell you say? I'm gonna make this work.
I mean, and to be fair, like there are converters out there if you're willing to go and spend the money.
Yeah,
but most people ain't willing to spend the money.
No, because they just spent a lot of money, so they're not trying to do that. So,
look, I'm just being as fair as possible because apparently I hate Sony, so I have to be fair to Sony.
Dude, we are fanboys. Do you not know that we fanboys? Dude? We just fanboys. Time to have our 3-hour podcast explaining why we're not. That's next week. All right, let's move on to Microsoft. All right, so Microsoft this year, to me, they had the most to prove because once again, look, whether you love them or hate them, they're in the gaming. They're in the games. So I'm not finna sit here and pretend and lie and be like, I want them out. No, I didn't want Sony. I didn't want Sega to leave.
No,
and Sega shot themselves in the foot, and I didn't want them to leave. I do not want Microsoft to leave either. Yes, do they make questionable business decisions that I don't understand because I'm not privy to those conversations? Yes. does that mean that does that mean they're completely and totally evil? No. Does that mean they're completely and totally good? No. They do some good stuff. They do some bad stuff.
Yeah.
I will say this. I will say this. Every gamer was screaming about wanting Bobby Kotick gone, and he wasn't gonna be gone unless they got bought. And I'll leave it at that. So if you're mad about that, I'm like, bro, I don't know what to tell you. So
I don't know. I mean, like I said, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't in the world of business.
Yeah.
So it's like they want the companies to be their friends, but then like when you dog them, they're mad when they're gone. It's the weirdest thing ever. Because imagine if Nintendo disappeared after the Wii U. Man, I miss the old Nintendo. Man, I miss Nintendo. Wish they were still here. Like, that's how they always do it. Damn, doom and gloom.
Yeah, I hate doom and gloom.
I mean, people already saying they missed the Wii U. I'm like, how many? I'm sitting here like, how many of y'all actually had it?
Yeah,
it don't make no sense
like,
for that.
How do y'all miss Miiverse when none of you used it?
Right.
And Wii U is trending.
But it's always trending. And that's what kills. It's like I can see if the Switch sucked, but the fact that the Wii U is trending consistently.
Yeah.
I said that means enough people are talking about it.
It's been consistently trending for like what, the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say for Xbox though, I will say I really, really want to play South of Midnight. I really want to play that game. It looks
interesting.
I liked what they did because they did switch up that art style. Because like me and Andre saw that and we were like, okay, this looked like stop motion. Well, that's what it was supposed to look like. Yeah. That's why we need a Treehouse Live for all of this stuff. Because they be doing stuff and then like we don't find out until like 2-3 days later because it came from a behind closed door demo. And I'm like, bro, y'all should have had a Treehouse Live for this. Right. Damon Bates is over at Xbox now. Y'all should have had him do y'all version of a Treehouse Live.
Right.
Because that one, South of Midnight, I'm probably on day one now.
Yeah. I have to play that.
It does look interesting. The only issue I had with that, and it's not that it's stop motion, it's that not everything in it is stop motion.
Right.
They only did partial stop motion. I'm like, why not just do the whole world that way?
Like the fish, old girl, and the gator was stop motion, but like the
environments and everything else wasn't. So you have like this weird split frame rate, and it makes things jarring.
Yeah,
I was like, please fix that.
Yeah, I'm like, either do the whole thing or not. But yeah, that's what. But it is like that. Talk about like an interesting game. I'm like, okay, that one caught my eye. That was interesting. That's why I did like what they did during that presentation. Right. Like they got to the point. Yes, they showed some games that's 2025 and a couple of them that were beyond. I'm like, y'all don't do.
Y'all should know that by now.
Don't do the beyond stuff, but whatever.
Don't do beyond next year. Just don't do beyond.
Just don't even do it. Everwild, anyone? Y'all remember that one?
Oh yeah.
So I don't want to hear nothing about that game.
Yeah.
That idea that hasn't come to hasn't been developed yet.
Yeah. Dark Void, you're absolutely right. That's another one that is a day one for me. That Doom: The Dark Ages.
Yeah.
And I'm not the biggest Doom fan, but
me either.
I will probably.
It looks fun though.
Yeah.
That looks like it's a lot of fun. But yeah, they came out, they did what they had to do, in my opinion, as far as that presentation is concerned. As far as like I don't blame Phil Spencer for some of the stuff that a lot of people blame him for. Because like I said, I think a lot of that stuff that's happened, especially in the last 4 or 5 months, has not come from him. They came from above his head.
Yeah.
And I know people want to blame him for it because he's the easy mark.
Yeah. He's the face.
Yeah. So I don't blame him for stuff that I'm pretty sure was beyond his control. Now, does he lie? Yeah, of course he does. He can't tell y'all everything because he has competitors.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're not going to know everything. That's why it's like, look, I like doing predictions, but I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend like my predictions is fact.
Right.
So, That's just one of those things. I'm like, dude, like he can't tell everybody because you'll show your hand, and you can't show your hand.
Yeah.
Like you can do some stuff, but you can't show your hand. That's why Nintendo got them leakers. Them leakers, they run for their life.
They closing them faucets quick.
Oh yeah,
they run for their bruh. For a cow with them looking like, which one of y'all were talking? Which one of y'all was talking?
I know by now Nintendo figured out who was leaking their back end information too.
Yeah.
That probably didn't take long.
They are not going to publicize that they fired that person because of the way this situation is special.
Oh no, they're not going to publicize what they do to that person. So.
Listen. We can't tell everybody about the Nintendo Mafia.
The real Yakuza.
Lest you trying to be one of their targets. I'm just
yeah.
Look, there's a reason why some of them dudes we be looking at them like, why they don't never smile?
Hey,
so
what is it a smile about? We handle the business over here.
But yeah, for as far as like Microsoft is, I will say this: they had a couple games that I thought were actually pretty interesting. Of course, a lot of their games were the vast majority is third party.
Yep.
The vast majority. Like for the first half of this year, like a couple games that I actually enjoyed playing. Prince of Persia: Lost Crown, Tekken 8. I love those two games. I really do. I also double dipped on a couple of them, like Tales of Kenzera Zao. I enjoy that one. I have not played a Yuden Chronicle yet.
I started it, but I haven't jumped back into it.
Okay,
that's the same situation I'm in.
Because I heard that there were a lot of issues with it, and like they're doing patches to try to, and that's across the board. So it's like some stuff that I guess they didn't find out till it went live. So,
which hey, I mean it happens.
Yeah, it happens.
It's one of those things.
It's the state of gaming, dude. Like stuff gonna release, but at least we're in a spot where it can be patched. It's not one of those situations where you have to go back 6 months later and buy a whole new cartridge.
Yeah, where you're like, oh, let me make sure I got the right version.
Yeah.
Hey, that says version 1.02. Nah, that's the wrong one.
Ocarina of Time, anybody? Y'all remember that Ocarina of Time at the what was it? At the 9/11?
Yeah.
Like you go back and buy that N64 cartridge, you had to look and see what version you were getting. Because they resold a lot on this. Some of them was up to 1.0.2, 1.0.3.
Yeah.
I think it went up to 4, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm pretty sure the one I have is one of the originals.
I had one of the originals too, but I don't know where it is. So I had to, when I rebought it, mine says, because it had that 1.0.3 on mine.
Yeah, I don't, because I don't think the first one doesn't have that at the bottom of the screen anywhere.
It doesn't.
So
that's how you know.
I know mine's original.
Yeah, that's how you know you got one of the originals. So, those are a few of the games. Like I will tell anybody, I enjoyed Tekken 8. So
I will say, so I just finished the story on Tekken 8.
That was a wild story.
That was unnecessarily long, though.
Yeah.
Like, how many times do I need to fight my father? And because I was like, am I gonna fight this man again?
Yes. Every time there's an opportunity.
Devil form, angel form, without devil form. I was like, chill.
Like Kazuya, bro, you lost, dude.
Look, every time there's an opportunity, they square up.
Yeah. Jeez, dude.
Like he using the style that he learned from his pops, then he learned the style he got from his moms. I was like, bro, if I fight this man one more time, it was at the point where I'm just skipping. I'm like, yo, hurry up. And then I didn't even know if you lost, you're starting over.
Yeah, you got to start the whole
I said, fuck this. I was like,
from the angel versus devil to you got to start that whole. And it's like what?
Boy.
8 rounds? Yeah, 8. Yeah.
Oh, it's quite a few rounds.
Yeah, it's weird, but the stuff they added, like the arcade stuff, I thought was actually pretty cool. I was like, that's actually pretty cool. I still want to see what would Sakurai do if they let him like work on.
No.
You said no. Let that man breathe.
They are they already packed that game with enough stuff themselves. You really want to put the Packmaster on top of that?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Game would never have an ending.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
It is a bad thing when you got a story to it. You need to have a close to the story, not have the story just keep going in self-replicating extra parts.
Yeah.
This is the game that doesn't end.
I was just playing that song for my kids the other day. They're like, so the song really doesn't end? I said,
no, because it's 4 lines that loop.
They just keep going.
They just cut the show off.
Yeah, that's all it is.
You just keep the song going until you realize that you've been duped into singing it over and over again.
And it's addictive as shit too. I'm like, all right.
All right, so Jack, you got any thing for Microsoft?
Honestly, I mean, the one game that I would say got unnecessary hate that I heard was Perfect Dark. I mean, I didn't even expect to see.
No, I'm playing.
What'd you say?
I said it's serious. I'm playing. I'm playing.
I'll say it's necessary for certain reasons.
Well, I know y'all go deep into it, but from somebody that's a very casual person as far as Perfect Dark is concerned, I didn't even expect to see the game.
Yeah.
So the fact that you showed it with gameplay, I mean, it looks like it's going to be what Perfect Dark was for the 64.
I hope.
Maybe.
Y'all know something I don't know.
No.
Inside scoops. Somebody at Microsoft?
I wish. Because trust me, if I had a say in it, it would have looked way better than it did.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it still got some time on it, but for the most part, I mean, is bringing a new, not new, but bringing the IP back, which most people tend to complain about. They gotta bite that nostalgia bug. Like they gotta get that nostalgia out the way. But I'm looking forward to that one. I mean, looking forward to that as well as Gears. I've completed all Gears. I think the only thing I haven't finished with Gears was the DLC for Gears 4 or Gears 5. Excuse me.
You know what? I haven't played 5. Shoot.
I actually need to go back and actually blow through all those games.
Yeah.
I have them. I just have not played through all of them.
Gears 5 was the first game that made me realize it was time to upgrade from Xbox One. Or Series S, excuse me. That was like, yeah, you need to bump it up because it was chugging bad.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so I mean, other than that, I think Microsoft, I think they're in a good place. There wasn't a game that I looked at and asked why. I mean, they got the different, companies that they brought in. So I mean, you take advantage of the Fallouts, you take advantage of the Call of Duty, so that adds to what you're already doing. I'm more interested to see how many people really move on from Sony to go play over on Microsoft for Game Pass purposes.
I think because I don't know how people feel about the PlayStation version of that because they do have their version. I cut my PlayStation thing off. I just have NSO and Gold. So I don't think it's going to be a big jump because I think what they're going to do is whatever they do with Call of Duty. I think they're just gonna mirror, but it's just gonna be for whatever PlayStation's is.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way I'm looking at it is when you see on one end, it's like, okay, I have to go and pay $70 for this game to where if I have my Xbox, I just got to download it when it come out, call it a day, and that kind of works in their favor. Now, will it make a lot of people jump? Probably not. I mean, you still got your friends on a console, and that's what you're counting on is to play with your friends. So,
especially those games,
for sure.
Now the game I thought got unnecessary hate. It was 2 of them. It was Dragon Age and Fable.
I can see that.
And I was like, y'all been begging for a Fable game for God knows how long, and as soon as you see it, it's woke, dude. You ain't even damn, bro. You don't. They just showed a trailer and a woman walked in and y'all said it was woke. I'm like, bro, y'all okay. All right, I can't with some of y'all.
That's how it works.
Yeah, and then like with Dragon Age, I'm like, I can understand why some people were upset because it looked like a big departure from what they're used to. I just thought it looked interesting. I'm like, I don't until I see some like concrete gameplay, like they show like that I can't get mad at that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I can't just get mad just because you saw a black elf and now you mad.
which is weird because they were in the series. There were several of them in the series from jump. So that's why I'm like,
it's like
you had the dark skinned multi-sexual elf that wanted to bone everyone since the first game.
It's kind of like those Star Wars fans that get mad about seeing Finn not remembering that Billy D. Williams was also in it.
Right.
And Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
But y'all mad at John Boyega. All right.
They still did Finn wrong. They still did.
Oh
Finn
yeah,
wrong.
they did. That's why I don't blame that. I don't blame John for not coming back. I don't blame him. Gonna turn me to a damn simp of the year and then think I'm gonna come back.
Mm-mm.
Hell no. So yeah, Trinell, I meant because I heard what people saying when that by the time that
we get to
presentation
that.
was over.
We get to that one.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that one in a minute because I had to explain stuff to some people earlier this week about that. That's gonna be fun. But yeah, I thought it was fine. I don't know if I'll day one Dragon Age, so I do want to see like a gameplay deep dive. But Fable, I might wind up day one because I haven't played Fable in a while.
In a long time.
Yeah.
I haven't played Fable since the third game. The only issue I have with the third game is it felt completely rushed.
Yeah.
I didn't even make it that far. I only got the Fable 2 and I didn't make it to 3.
And I think the reason why that one was because they were trying to have a release window for the 360, right? If I'm not mistaken, wasn't that the release window for 360?
No, the second one was for 360. The second one's on 360 too.
Okay.
I think they were trying to. If I remember correctly, I think Dragon Age and Nat were coming out around the same time.
All right.
And they were trying to hurry up and get it out before Dragon Age, if I remember correctly.
Because I remember it was one of the two. So yeah, that was just a weird time frame. But yeah, I'm actually like, okay, this might actually be cool. But like the only big thing I can complain about is like the majority of their stuff was 2025 and beyond. I'm like, bro, y'all gotta stop this beyond 2025, dude. Don't even talk about it.
Don't mention if it's that far out.
Yeah, just don't even mention it. And I'm thinking companies are starting to get the memo on that because like we have special people in game that will sip account every day.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And they will pretend like they got nothing else to play but that game. And I'm like, bruh, especially this generation, we get games like we get 4 and 5 heavy hitters, depending on what month you might get 4 or 5 heavy hitters.
Oh yeah.
So, bruh, man. And then not to mention the backlog stuff that you buy because y'all know that Steam sale.
Man,
about to get y'all.
I got double whammied. I got hit with a Steam sale and a VR Summerfest. They went for my neck twice.
And the Capcom sale is next week. The Capcom sale starting next week.
Why
I'm
you
cool on
reminding
that.
me?
I'm good on that one.
I'm just saying, like everybody, because y'all know because this that time, like soon as, especially in North America, as soon as there's a holiday, there's 3 or 4 companies make sales and do these crackhead prices on stuff that just came out.
Mm-hmm. I just need that Luigi's Mansion to make sure it's on sale.
Let that drop down.
Yeah, let that drop down. I'm not dropping 60 for that. I'm gonna wait until they get the 50 or 40. Cool.
Yeah. So it's just that. That's why I'm like I have not been on Steam because I know me.
Don't even look. Don't even look.
I'll be just bought 40 games for
that's why
$50. I'm like no.
That's why I have not. If I open Steam, I'm going right to my library, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I don't. There's a site I go to, Fanatical, that I usually do check for Steam sales and stuff because they have
Steam DB.
Oh, I checked there too.
Okay.
Look, I float around all the little different PC game sellers to see which one might have the best price before I purchase it.
Yeah.
But Fanatical and Indie Gala are usually ones I hit, especially if I'm trying to look for something that might not be as well known for
Right.
Steam. But yeah, I've stayed off of all of those.
Right. Yeah, because when you sent me what you sent me earlier, like granted, I have all the games on that list except for Serious Sam, because Serious Sam isn't on Quest. But yeah, I wish Humble Bundles would be on anything outside of PC, because
I had only just seen it. I was like, man, they doing this for VR. Hold on, let me
yeah,
send it.
because Gorn is one of those games that should get more reception than what it gets. But yeah, even when I had Humble Bundle, for those 2 months, like I got a lot for those first 2 months. And I was like, yeah, Humble Bundle is right where it need to be. Like those prices are fantastic. You just going through. So I think I got what, Yakuza Like a Dragon. What else did I get that I was going to purchase and then just didn't touch it? I think Sifu and something else I got from Humble Bundle. But yeah, you come up. But yeah, these sales gonna eat everything, because like I said, with the VR Summerfest thing, I also subscribe to Quest Plus since they improved it dramatically. You also get discounts for having Quest Plus. Then they put the game on sale, and then you can go find a referral code from somebody to get another 25% off. So I was like, yeah, you literally buying games for like $5 or $9 at this point, dude. Like
they really out here like, yo, come on, come buy these
stacking. My kids
out there like eating. Tyrone Biggums.
Hey, buddy, got a game for you. That's pretty much what they're doing. All right, so let's go on and get Nintendo out of the way, because y'all know Nintendo, the weak console. I mean, God, they've been around for 30 years, and I can't understand why they won't move on to the Switch Pro.
Yeah, they trash.
Yeah, God, it's so trash. Jeez. I mean, I can't play anything that's not 120 frames a second. I don't understand why they don't understand this.
But why would I want?
Y'all see Bad Boys?
Why would I want the cancer that's killing the very thing you say you love? I don't understand that.
I don't understand that. I don't either. So, Nintendo has been doing Nintendo stuff, which is pissing everybody off and still making a profit. I don't know how they do that.
And being petty about it.
And then on top of that,
ultra petty.
Yeah, this Nintendo is like, they petty. They just petty.
Boy.
And I
guess they said we tried being nice. I ain't let us be nice, so we're just gonna be petty.
Like, look, why they ain't here no more? We ain't gotta be nice. So dang.
Yeah. I was like, look, at least this way we ain't being nice to you and then cutting your throat later. We just cutting your throat and smiling.
Now.
We just all around
say something about us we don't like. So
you say something about us we don't like, we gonna make a game mode specifically for you.
Yeah, specifically. And then we're gonna do a whole overview just to show you suck. Jeez. But so this year, you can probably say that they had a lot of remakes.
Yeah.
But they were remakes of games that people wanted anyway. Like, I mean,
what were you expecting?
Like, y'all been saying this is what y'all wanted, and so they. All right, whatever.
We wanted it earlier.
Yeah.
Before everybody told me that the console was too weak to do something, and that we need to hurry up and get this new one because the Switch has burnt through its time, as if there's some deadline.
I mean, listen.
And then they dropped Metroid Prime 4 Beyond.
Right. Which is showing. They were showing Switch 2 footage, Jay. That wasn't Switch footage.
According to Digital Foundry.
According to the ball sack hanging off the wall.
Trinell, I feel you. The soft game error.
Okay, I'm gonna just get mine out the way real quick. See this This is a surprising gem.
Yeah.
Very happy about that.
Okay.
I did not think I was gonna like that game as much as I did.
Now for what's getting hated, and Trinell mentioned it in the chat, even though the game hasn't come out yet, and people for some reason think that just because there's a change up in style, which the Legend of Zelda has always done, that is going to be a problem for the game. Echoes of Wisdom is literally you playing a Zelda game as Zelda, as people have been begging for it. So if you play as Zelda, one, every Zelda and Link are different. They're not all the same. Two, some Zeldas rely more on their magic than others, which would mean that this Zelda relies heavily on her magic as opposed to Twilight Princess Zelda, who still relies on her magic but has combat training.
Yeah.
If you want a Legend of Zelda game where you potentially play with Link and Zelda, do you really want both of them to have the exact same gameplay loop?
Yes. No.
I mean,
I need her to wield the sword.
Well, that was the thing that irked me when because I saw somebody respond on Rob's Rule 2 Reviews latest thing, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, clearly
You've never played
people
Legend of Zelda.
the people that are complaining about this have never played a Zelda game, or they've only played like one or two, because I'm like, they switch stuff up they're the outcast of games. Like Outkast did something different every album. That's why you should expect them to not be the same.
Even with direct sequels, you go from Ocarina of Time to Majora's Mask. There is a completely different gimmick from one to the other, and that is a direct sequel.
Yeah.
I mean, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom.
But y'all already understand how this goes.
Yeah.
You got a group that play the game. You got a group that wants to play the game and wants to like it. And then you have that group that just want to be in the conversations. Yep. And that's the group that's always the loudest. And like, oh, well, we want Zelda to do this and then I'll pick it up. No, you're not. You haven't picked it up in some time now. Even if this was a game where it was chic and not, Zelda being
still be different.
Like, it would still be different. She should be a ninja.
Right. But my thing is, I think it was more on the whole combat aspect of it, because right now this game is going to make people think, and we know people don't like to do that
because it's going to be a puzzle game. It's going
to be a puzzle game, and it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool because it's very Tears of the Kingdom like, in a sense of you just taking things and making them work, because people are going to make some wild stuff
use the hell out of that mess.
Oh yeah, man. Listen. The WWE things with Zelda running in with a steel chair.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
I'm going. Look, if it lets me do it, I'm going to drop a bed on somebody and kill it.
Hey,
I need an anvil. If they let me do an echo of an anvil, Looney Tunes is on deck.
like the anvils that the blacksmiths.
If they let me make it,
just walk up to the edge of the mountain. Oh, there's a bokoblin right there. Oh, there's a bokoblin right there. See, you got smashed. I told you it was gonna work.
Yeah. do not. Nintendo, don't give me no anvil. Do not give me an anvil.
Listen,
I've watched too many episodes of Merry Melodies.
If you can walk into someone's house and steal their bed to use it as a trampoline, I'm very certain you can take an anvil, throw a bed down, walk up to the high edge of a cliff, drop the anvil and let it bounce repeatedly, jump on the anvil, then jump off of the anvil and drop something else down on top of another enemy. I'm pretty sure they're going to have that type of combination, and we're going to be seeing videos for it everywhere.
Like I said, the best meme I've seen so far is Cindy when she was throwing all that stuff downstairs. The dude in the mask, they had Zelda's face over Cindy's. On the piano. Like, yeah, that's literally
take everything, just throw it.
And the other thing too is like Dark said, people are complaining about the $60. First of all, unless you know what all they have put in there, you don't know how much it takes to pay all these people. So yes, you're gonna have to pay for the game, and you're gonna have to pay the standard rate.
The problem, and I can tell the problem with that is that everybody's still on this mindset that PS4 or PS5 and Xbox games are a certain price, they're somehow a higher quality. No, they're more
when,
expensive because of the technology used, not because of the quality of them.
No, and that's why, like when I don't think it was you that said it when Link's Awakening got re-released. You like they're doing this for a reason.
Oh yeah,
Echoes of Wisdom is the reason why they were doing it because it's pretty much the same engine.
Link's Awakening was a test.
Yeah,
it was just like. Well, people have somehow not understood this. The Skyward Sword release.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, there's going to be an element that you're in the sky with the next game with Tears of the Kingdom. It was written literally in front of everyone.
Yep.
Super Mario Maker 2 comes out. Ideas are thrown at the wall. Super Mario Wonder comes out after that. It's not coincidence.
I mean, Xenoblade Chronicles gets a definitive edition. Because if you don't have that, you're not going to understand half the stuff that happened in 3. You're just not. That stuff that happens in 3, you won't understand. Like the majority of remakes that they did were for a specific purpose. As far as influencing a new game that was coming out.
It was like, hey, we're giving you a bit of a taste of something that we're doing.
We're going to see if you like it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, yeah, Echoes of Wisdom getting hate. I'm like, and on top of that, I'm like, y'all ain't even played in half of y'all. And this is the part that upsets me with the Nintendo side of things when people complain. These people complain and go buy 3 games, 2 Switch lights, the headphones that come with it. So you're saying one thing out your mouth online, and then when Nintendo, when the board gets it and sees the sales, they're like, "Oh, we sold how much in 2 months? Whoa, that was fast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we weren't expecting to make that much.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna take the price down? No. Why would we? They're buying it. they buying it. But sir, they, on Twitter and Facebook, they say they hate this.
Okay, but
what does this say? What does this say?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, bro, look, Animal Crossing, Pokemon Legends Arceus, any Pokemon. Best.
Yeah.
3-4
like,
years.
y'all got to explain that one. Y'all hate that game so much, but yet it sells like gangbusters.
Like, because once again, Nintendo's releasing a Legend of Zelda Switch Lite. It's gold. How much you want to bet people gonna buy? Trying to pick up 2 and 3 now?
That still hurts. Yeah. That still hurts so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, I'm like, y'all. It literally makes no sense. Like, you complain, but then you turn right back on these. The same people that's complaining is gonna pick the game up at least 3 times and buy 2 Switch Lights.
Right.
So you're not standing on your word.
I would say if I was Pokemon Company, I would start over. I would start re-releasing those first games just in these engines now. Like, you know what? I don't even want to make no more generations. I'm just gonna sell you Pokemon Yellow, Red, and Blue in this new engine and call it a day.
I mean, they technically did that with a Hey You Pikachu and
not
Hey You Pikachu. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So all they really would have to do is go ahead. Okay, if we're doing a new generation, whatever. But we'll go ahead and do a Let's Go version of everything going forward.
Yeah. Which I thought they were gonna do. I thought for sure they were gonna do that.
They might still be doing it. They're probably still working out the kinks in the engine.
Which would be nuts because we got another Legends announced before that did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was gonna be the trend. We were gonna get Let's Go's, Legends, and then mainline series.
It depends on what they have to work out.
Don't forget the plushies and the movies.
Oh yeah, I know those.
I exclude
mystery
those. Dungeons.
Yeah.
I'll always exclude those, but like the main, like the 3 new ones. Because I mean, when we talk about the Let's Go's, it's just like I guess the introduction. Hell, even they got me to buy the little Pokeball on top of that. I was sitting there playing the game with a damn Pokeball, like
having fun too.
having fun. I was like, that was like, I don't know. And then you can hear it in there too. I was like, oh shit, man, I'm a real Pokemon trainer around here.
Yep. That's how they get you. That's how they get you.
Look, they got so good. They gave you a game that you can sleep with the Pokemon. Come on now.
Yeah. Called it Pokemon Sleep.
Reword that, sir. Reword that.
Okay. They have a game that you can sleep while a Pokemon is near you.
There we go.
That-
PR cleanup. PR cleanup. PR cleanup.
Had to clear that up.
Yeah. Because we don't want to silly right sleeping with it.
Listen. Lore in Pokemon has said some things that are worse than
trust me,
my
I
little
know.
flub up there.
Look,
That's
man,
why I love.
First of all, the mother in all these games is always pushing their child out the door.
And there's
Hey,
always
at 10?
mysteriously a professor that ain't got no kids.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. I'm saying, AKA, it might be your daddy.
The only games that really did have your parent in it, I think, was Sapphire, Ruby and Sapphire.
Yeah,
those are the only ones that you had your dad in because he was a Pokemon trainer.
Because the other ones they was all
He was
single moms.
Yeah. The other one is just a single mother, and there happens to be a professor nearby.
This is stuff I hate about being an adult because when you see stuff like this, I was just so innocent as a child.
Yeah,
I'm not thinking about a 10-year-old getting kicked out the house to go be a Pokemon trainer.
It's like, oh, this is a cool thing. I wish I could go do this as an adult. You're like, why are we kicking the kids out?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, what you doing?
Know exactly what they're doing.
I mean, we know what Professor Oak and Miss Ketchum was doing.
Yes. Yes. So there's another game that I thought got a little bit of weirdness around it, and that was Endless Ocean Luminous. I'm like, y'all actually got mad at this?
I thought that was weird.
They don't know what it is, and they refuse to play it.
Yeah, but like I saw some stuff floating around on Facebook because people are uploading the pictures of the fish and all that stuff, and I'm like, okay, it actually looks like one of those relaxing games. I never played it on the Wii. But it looks like one of those relaxing games. I just don't have time to put that much time into a game right now. I just don't. I have way too much stuff right now.
See, that's all Endless Ocean is meant to be. It's just a time to relax and chill out, maybe swim with some fish.
Yeah.
Explore ocean a little bit. That's it. That's all it's meant to be.
Now, the other game that I thought was just weird, and that's because Atlas would not explain it, is Shin Megami Tensei Vengeance. I'm like, is it DLC? Is it a...
Yeah, I'm still confused on that. Is that a new game?
It's the same game with added stuff.
Yeah, with
a director's cut.
Basically.
And they got rid of the original version.
Yeah.
Which I think was a bad idea, because then you have people that would be interested in getting the original because they want to see the difference. But they didn't think about that. They was like, oh no, we're just gonna clear this out and
not tell nobody.
So I'm assuming there's a reason behind that, right? I would assume.
More than likely it was just because somebody thought it was a good idea to remove them, and they didn't want to confuse people, probably. But if you're trying to make money, why get rid of the original version?
Yeah.
Especially when there are probably people who would prefer to play the original.
That was just a moment.
Because I'm sitting here, you can look on Xbox right now and see that Ubisoft has several different versions of the same Assassin's Creed games sitting up for purchase.
Yeah,
I mean, they got several different versions of Child of Light, and that came out in 2014.
So
no damn sense. The game ain't that damn good.
Just saying. Yeah, so that was just the weirdest thing to me. Now, I do want to talk about this one game that got hate, and it got hate for the wrong reasons. And I think a lot of people they jump on stuff because, and then they're mad because of a certain reason, but they're trying to use excuses of other things instead of just being honest. And that was Tales of Kinsera's out.
Which one?
Tales of Kinsera.
Oh, okay.
I love that game. It basically deals with grief, the death of a loved one, grief, and it's action platformer along the lines of like Metroid and stuff like that. So it's an action platform.
Do you feel like with this release that it was a little too close and too similar to Prince of Persia?
No. Not really, because Prince of Persia. The only thing I didn't like about Prince of Persia was the Killmonger haircut. But it's enough of a difference, and plus, like Prince of Persia is, you already know what the Prince of Persia is.
Mm-hmm.
This is talking about this character's journey about his father that's passed away, and him having to deal with it and can't let it go.
Right.
Using African, deities and stuff like that. And people were hating it because they tried to say it was because of Sweet Baby Inc. Then the creator was like, nah, Sweet Baby Inc. had nothing to do with this.
Right.
And people just knew that they did because they were trying to mask the reason why they didn't like it. It's a story set in Africa. It's a black character, male character. That's the main character, and they don't have any other reason to not like it. Because number one, either you play it or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't play it. They said the reason why they didn't play it was because of Sweet Baby Inc. And there's one thing that I can't stand, and this is something I can't stand with people. If you don't like something, and this goes to the crowd that loves to yell woke 25 times in one sentence, this you don't like a woman or a black person or an Asian person
That's it.
being the main character, just say
Yeah.
that. You'll get more respect from people if you just say that, because now we know how to move around you.
Right.
Stop trying to say, because there's one dude, I'm not gonna say his name, but his response was, "Oh, I'm Jewish, so I'm not being racist." I'm like, yes,
That
you are,
doesn't
because
make a
everything that
difference.
just came out your mouth
Yeah.
was that you saying that you do to try to say that. Oh, I'm not like that. I'm just saying that they use Sweet Baby Inc. No, you're not. You just heard the guy say that. No, they had nothing to do with this.
Mm-mm-mm.
And I hate that. So that game to me got unnecessary hate. And I'm like, I think if people would actually played it, if you are a fan of those types of games, you probably would enjoy it because the story is actually deep
Yeah.
and it's actually fun and engaging. But if you're one of those people who listen to other people without you know making your own decisions, then why are you complaining? Like if you have no interest in desire in playing it because you believe that this why are you commenting on it? In my opinion.
I just don't get it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. When we get into video games, it's one thing to say, okay, I don't like a game because of what I saw gameplay wise.
Yeah.
I don't like it because the price is a little too high. So let me wait until it comes down on a sale. When it starts getting into the politics, who made it, who funded it, who did anything out of what you should really be paying attention to, that's where I get a little confused. And the reason why is I don't know anybody that questions anything else in their everyday life as into what's going on. If you saying, okay, the little Sweet Baby thing or whatever, I was about to say Sweet Baby Ray, let you know I'm
That's
hungry.
some good barbecue sauce, boy.
But yeah, I mean, like for me, they just popped on the scene out of nowhere.
Yeah.
One day, and then everybody's talking about it as if they knew this company existed for ages.
That's how you know they be lying.
Exactly. So my thing is this: if there's some type of involvement with this company, and you do your research with this company, and you say, okay, well, I'm just not going to indulge in it for whatever practices or whatever they have going on, then quietly leave it alone. I don't know what this whole thing of like I need to announce my voice. Sometimes not everybody needs to be heard on everything. Some things can just be left to yourself. But for me, if I go and I tell you like, look, I'm just not supporting EA, it's not the political behind it. It's just they've been a shitty company with the releases for a while. So I'm just going to wait until they do better before I continue giving them my money. I'm not getting into the political aspect of anything of what someone paid for and what someone funded, because 9 times out of 10, there's something in my house from a company that has funded the very thing that I just disregarded this game for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. Like, I don't believe in half-assing your I stand firm stance. I don't get it, but I do understand social media is a place to where most come to feel like involved or validated or a part of something. because you're old. You're older than me at this point, and I still understand. Like there was a time if you didn't have a cell phone, you still would get on a house phone and call somebody, but you had to know somebody. But in this day and age, you don't have to know anybody. I can get online right now and just talk to a bunch of random people, and they don't have to know me. They don't have to have my number or anything for me to get involved into a conversation. And there's people that are like that because they're very introverted in the nature of not really being a part of a group per se. And so they just kind of come and get caught up in this mess. And it's so weird to me.
Yeah. And Zodi, you said it best. It's a double standard because they tell us to stop complaining. So this guy went and did it. He got it up, made his own studio, created a game off of his experience. Because I was listening to a featurette they did on him where he was talking about it. And I'm like, bruh, this ain't got nothing to do. How is this woke? How is this DEI? How is this any of this stuff that y'all saying? Y'all lying. Just say you at this point, just say you racist and go on about your day.
I respect you even more to say I don't like black people.
Yeah, just say it. Like
be blunt. Be out there.
Because at least now I know how to move around you.
Yeah. That is it. And I mean, you can't say you're going to get canceled. You don't have anything of substance to be canceled
for, yeah.
But it's like, but at the same time, too, even when they talk about the woke aspect or the DEI aspect of female leads at this point, it's okay to have a female lead in the game.
We've been had female leads.
Right.
Hell, some of your favorite fighting game characters are females. Chun-Li.
Yes. Chun-Li is top dog.
I done seen people straight up walk the dog on folks with Chun-Li. Yes, and most of these are dudes playing with Chun-Li. Kazumi and Ayane from Dead or Alive. Taki and Ivy from Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started about Metroid and Samus.
Yeah.
Her Frieza acting self.
But even if you look at something like if you date it back to like when Final Fantasy X came out and they did Final Fantasy X-2 to where it was an all-female cast, like people would have considered that they're trying to fit in and woke moment and DI. Sometimes people just have great ideas that would be best suited for a female lead.
Yeah,
that is okay.
There's nothing wrong with that Princess Peach Showtime game. Trust me.
At all. She's a part of the franchise just as much as Bowser and Mario.
Yeah. I mean, what she did to Bowser and Mario and Odyssey was jacked up. But
I would have sent her back, and you hear me? Bro, I would have launched her ass off the moon after doing that stunt. You won't get saved again. I tell you that.
It's the stunt she pulled.
Bro. Ain't like I felt for both of them. I'm playing through the game and I'm like,
disrespect.
Yep, Mario showed up. She don't want to marry Bowser. I get you, bro. She don't want to marry you, dog.
Did she just walk
Mario
out?
I'm going on vacation, homie. What?
What?
All right, Bowser, keep doing what you're doing, bro. I'm gonna go back to the house. Like we're not about to play these games.
Yeah.
Boy.
So, yeah. That's just one of those things. It just irked me, and when I saw him talk about it and the stuff, I'm like, dude, I want to see more games from that studio.
Right.
I do.
Yeah.
I wish them nothing but the best. And to see
people know if they got returns, like proper returns for it.
Yeah, because it didn't cost that much to make. So they've made because the last thing I saw that they made they exceeded their expectation. But remember, the thing came out on everything, like most third-party stuff should come out on everything to maximize your profit. So that's how that goes. But all right, so the rest of 2024, we got Gamescom coming up. We got Tokyo Game Show coming up. There are a couple things that we know are dropping in 2025. We also have Nintendo is supposed to be doing their successor reveal sometime at the end of the year. So if I'm a betting man, I'm thinking it's gonna be just like it was with Switch. It's probably gonna be in November, that first trailer, and then we'll get the direct in January.
So, because they did what somewhat of a reveal in September.
In September, they revealed like the name of it.
Oh, okay,
And I think it was, I want to say either October or November, they did that 3-minute trailer. And then in January was when we got the direct with the look at it, and then the release of in March, and then that's when they did the Breath of the Wild because they did the Breath of the Wild thing at Video Game Awards, but they did the
Right.
actual trailer at that direct. So
Okay. Yeah.
I'm thinking it's going to follow the same lines, and it's
Man.
probably going to be because I've been saying for about a year now, I'm like that Metroid Prime 4 is going to probably be cross gen.
Oh yeah.
If I'm them, I'm putting that out on the successor and Switch same day, and I'm gonna buy
do
both.
the same day.
I do the same day. I'm buy both, just like you did Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild came out on the Wii U and the Switch same day.
Which one of the Zelda staggered? Was it
that
the
was
game?
Twilight Princess.
Okay.
Twilight Princess was the one that was staggered.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
I don't know why I thought it was Breath of the Wild, but yeah, I was thinking about staggering. Because I mean, when I look at it, Shadow. When I'm looking at the successor with Metro Prime 4, to me, I would only release it on the same day if it's not that big of a difference between the two.
It's probably not going to be that big of a difference. This is Nintendo we're talking about.
Right. Now, let's go into fairy tale world to where, like, let's say all this DLSS shit is factual. And let's say they go and they show it and they're like, hey, this is a Switch version, but now I had that damn thing. I sold mine. I shouldn't have sold it. But if they come and they show, okay, here's the Switch 2 or whatever it's going to be called. Let's show you some games that you already have on your Switch. Let's show you what it can do on this new successor. And it's like night and day difference. I'm staggering those. Because I'm curious to see what they do, because I feel like they're gonna get a little bit more juice out of some of these Switch games before they really start putting a lot of I guess you could say Switch 2 titles out there to say, all right, cool, these are like only for the Switch 2. We're gonna get that cross gen for like the first 2 years, I believe.
Well, you got to remember, Sony's probably gonna send somebody out to say that the PS2 sold 25 million more. They're not trying to get it. They're not trying to give that W, boy.
The PS2 sold 2 million units. 200
but
million.
it don't benefit them at all. Like, why do you have to keep lying about this?
They gonna start selling a PS2 Lite. Just so
That's rough.
That plays Blu-rays, but not 4K, just Blu-rays.
And it's not like I don't understand what the appeal. I don't understand the need or the thirstiness of doing something like that. Like,
dude, it's
Nintendo hit lightning with a bottle just like they did with Wii. You didn't outsell Wii, so if Switch is outselling you, you don't need to. I guess because PS2 is your crowning achievement, I guess.
Yeah, it's pride at this point, man. That's all it is. It's pride.
Yeah,
like that's all that is.
Because you've held that for a while.
Yeah,
you've held that record for a minute.
It's at this point, it's just pride. So, we're just giving our thoughts on the rest of 2024. So, personally, I would say the games I'm probably looking forward to mostly. I want my Treehouse Live of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond at some point. I think we deserve a direct for that, a straight up direct for that, standalone 30-minute direct for that. And I'm actually, as much as because I had to come to peace with the Perfect Dark situation, I would like to see a full-on gameplay demonstration for Perfect Dark. And not their version, their 8-minute version where you don't hardly see nothing. They do one run and then it's a CG cutscene. No, I want some, something substantial. Like I said, David Baker is over at Microsoft now. Let that man run it.
What will work for me for Perfect Dark would be show me the multiplayer.
Well, that along with the game, I need to know what that story is gonna look like. Because if that story ain't fun, I'm gonna be mad. If they try to make it too serious, I'm gonna be mad.
Well, I mean, what it's kind of they wanted to show, and if they're gonna do this, they're probably gonna do the origin story all over again. So
they're gonna have to because of Zero, they don't have no choice. They have no choice. That's why I prefer the original, because Zero's story was for lack of a better term, in my opinion.
They went too far. It
was stupid.
Yeah.
It was stupid in my opinion. So
a lot of that stuff wasn't necessary.
Yeah. Oh, Trinell, thank you for reminding me. The Dragon Quest 3 and Trilogy HD 2D stuff.
Right.
That is day one. Man, how
Day
come
one.
every time they do a HD 2D looks better than before?
So here's my thing. Are they going to release physical copies for this? Because this is going to be expensive. Whatever this is, it's going to be really expensive really quick.
Well, seeing as how they released physical copies for all the other ones, I would expect them to, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, because they did it for Lava. Now, the Lava Live and Triangle Strategy was after digital release, like a month later.
Yep.
But they still came out. I think
and the Octopath 2 was physical first.
Yeah, Octopath 1 and 2 was, well, 1 I think was physical first, 2 was same day, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. I was just, because when they showed the trailer for it in the direct, I was sitting there looking, I'm like, this looks better than Lava Live, and Lava Live looked better than Triangle Strategy. Triangle Strategy looked better than, I'm like, bro, how are they doing this? How are they doing this? So, yeah, and then the surprise of them saying, 1 and 2 is coming in 2025. I'm like, so we doing... are we doing same cartridge or what?
Yep.
I'm going to figure that Dragon Quest 1 and 2 are going to be on the same one.
Yeah. I'm just hoping that there's some they continue to do the physical because you're already putting it on the system that's on its way out the door. Those copies are going to fly off the shelf and they're going to be rare real quick. So
what you thinking? Like in 2026 is going to be like $300 to get one?
Wouldn't be a surprise. Yeah. How much was it get a Wii U right after they went off the market?
Yeah, $600-$700.
No, I seen some for $1,500.
Yeah.
So
I mean, to be fair, these are sealed in box, but
okay.
Yeah. I mean, but sealed in box.
Wish I had a couple extras sitting around.
Right.
Xenoblade Chronicles X still going for like $400-$500, depending on.
Did you ever get that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 when I told you to?
Of course I did.
Because that right now that Torn the Golden Country that jumped like $300.
Yep. So I got I have a copy of Torna. I have not touched it. I have Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the special edition and the regular edition. Okay. I had opened the special edition though, and I have 2 copies of Xenoblade Chronicles X, one sealed special edition, and one not opened, and 2 copies of Breath of the Wild. I got a sealed Switch one and a sealed Wii U one.
I could never get a sealed. I couldn't find a Wii U one.
Well, it was a mess up by Amazon. Actually, that's how I ended up getting it. I was like, "Well, I got 2 out of it, whatever." They gave me a refund, and then I kept the other one sealed. So that's how that ended up working. It was a freak accident.
Yeah. So if you're gonna get those physicals, y'all better. Hey, look, I know people have their feelings about pre-order, but I pre-order to make sure I get one.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I have to, because if you don't, I mean, like I was telling Shadow, like when Torn of the Golden Country, when
it was rough,
when they went through that inventory, people were selling them mugs for like $100, $200, $300, and people were buying it because they couldn't find them nowhere.
It was bad when I saw it for $80 used, and I'm like, what are we doing? Like,
that's nuts.
But they only had a set number. They had a set number, and they went through it. So I was
Best Buy ended up doing a reprint. They did one more reprint, and I'm like, I'm in. All right, I jumped on it. He let me know. He's like, hey, they got it, and I was like, all right, I'm on it.
Yes,
I'm locked
I think
in
it was
right
$40.
now.
I think the one, it was $40 when they did the reprint.
Yep,
it was $40.
I will never open it.
Leave it sealed. Let it just sit there.
Yeah, because that's a whole game. Like, you don't even need Xenoblade Chronicles 2 to play it.
Can I be honest with y'all? I know people love Future Imperfect, but I think Torn of the Golden Country is a better story.
I'm going to say it has a better end game too, as far as gameplay goes.
Yeah. I like Future Imperfect. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
I just and Future Redeemed. I like both of them. I just think Torn of the Golden Country is better.
I think Future
Story-wise.
Redeemed had a better combat system than Base 3 did.
Yeah,
but not as good as Torna.
Yeah,
Torna was, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just so good and broken.
I love replaying Torna. I love replaying Torna. So yeah, I will say this: Jen would have wiped the floor with Ian. Anyway,
Yeah.
Jen would have wiped the floor with Ian. Ian was annoying. Jen was cool.
Yeah.
So but all right, Andre, thoughts on the rest of 2024?
I mean, all I'm waiting to see is how many more things I said should happen are going to happen.
Sean is not coming to Street Fighter 6, dude. I'm sorry.
I'm not talking about that. Look, listen. It's not my fault that Capcom decided to half-heartedly listen to me. Because they half-heartedly listened to me and then re-released the original Resident Evil trilogy on Good Old Games. Perfect Dark coming to NSO.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you just look through my pitch for Switch list. And
I'm pretty sure Conker's coming out. They put that material.
Conker,
It's only a matter of time now.
Yeah,
that is definitely
because you're not going to make a separate app for two games.
You're going to see Conker coming, and on top of that, I get the feeling Diddy Kong Racing going to hit too.
What's going to be tricky is, unfortunately, I don't think Mortal Kombat makes it. Because and that's not even another realm thing at this point. You're talking about two other different publishers who currently don't exist right now.
Because ain't that the same problem Microsoft had when they were trying to get what was it, Ultimate MK3 or something like that? They couldn't do it
because Williams at the time, Structured Software, who owned the code, and then Midway, who doesn't exist technically anymore. It's just too many copyrights you have to go through to get that.
I already said Metroid Prime 2 and 3 remasters is going to be coming. Now, Twilight Princess and Wind Waker.
I don't even know why you would want it though.
I don't know if you want to because they'd be inferior to the Wii U version.
There you go.
Well, that's the thing. That's the whole thing is fuck Wii U. That's what they're saying. Sorry, children in the chat, but that's why they're saying that.
They say that, but then they go beg for the Wii U games.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because the only combo I want remake is Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. That's the only one.
I would want them, but then again, if you did that with the 3DS versions, those would still be inferior to the 3DS versions.
Honestly,
I'm saying don't do the 3DS version. Do an actual.
I'm talking about just because if you can take the aesthetics from those versions and
the emulation on the GameCube version was pretty good though. But that was a limited edition disc, so I don't know how many people experienced that, but that was pretty good emulation. And then it had the extra Master Quest on it too.
Honestly, I wish they would just release that as its own thing.
The Master Quest?
Yes.
Yeah, that should be a thing.
Yeah.
That should be a thing because that was rumored for a long time. Urazel.
Well, it was on the DD.
Yeah, and it never happened. So
Nightwolf. Thank you for saying that. Yes, the gamepad. Because once you've had a clean HD, you can't go back to it, man. You can't.
Not unless you forced.
Yeah, and I don't want to be forced to do that. So, yeah, and this comes from a Zelda head.
So, here's the thing with that too. Like, it hurts because you end up playing stuff like Shantae. You end up playing stuff like Zeo Drifter.
Ninja Gaiden 3.
Ninja Gaiden 3. You start playing all these games where like you don't have a HUD, you don't need a HUD. Mm-hmm. You have an entire menu system sitting in your lap.
Mm-hmm.
And you just press one of the icons and it works just as quickly quicker than you would if you press the button and went to the menu to select something. It's a night and day difference, like an instant map, like that kind of stuff. It's hard to go back to that. It was rough for me playing the rest of the Shantae games. I was struggling. Then the version of what's the other game the guy did the game that's supposed to be like Metroid. I can't think of the name of it though right now.
Axiom Verge.
Yeah,
Axiom Verge. Yeah, so playing that on any other platform hurts too.
It does. Yeah.
It like coming from Wii U, it hurts. It hurts big time. Steam World Dig, that hurts too.
Oh yeah.
SteamWorld Dig was great on Wii U. I don't think
Heck,
people.
what
Splinter
is it?
Cell, Splinter Cell,
Splinter Cell
Man,
that's
Blaster.
Splinter Cell. Yeah,
now
Guacamelee.
Mass Effect 3,
yeah, yeah.
give or
EA
take.
was
Mass Effect 3 on Wii U was the only version of that game that gave you a live map.
Yes, it gave you a live map, and I like giving the orders. Like you could do
Yeah.
the orders on there kind of real time too, which was kind of
And it
interesting.
was far quicker than doing it with the button input.
Yep.
And for all the people that love to beg for Xenoblade Chronicles X, I am not playing that game without that gamepad.
Why would you?
Ain't
That's
no
nuts.
way.
Check this out. I play it with the gamepad, but then I play without the gamepad too. So like,
No, I'm
the
talking about
gamepad
like
it's my second screen.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm talking about like there is no way in the
You're
world.
talking about
I'm
the
gonna
full
sit up there
experience of the game.
Yeah, you've seen the pictures I put up.
Yeah.
It's me with my Pro controller,
Yeah,
and the
and I have-
gamepad is sitting
So
on
I
a
can
table
do-
somewhere nearby as a second screen, and I'm
Hit
playing
them
on the
buttons
TV.
real quick and go
Yeah.
back to playing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I ain't gotta hit no menu. Like I don't think because I tried out that Wonderful 101. I'm like, yeah, I'll go back to the superior version.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense because that whole thing of going into buildings and doing everything off the gamepad and then coming out, yeah, you just ruined
You
it.
lost a lot of stuff.
Asynchronous gaming was off the chain.
Yep.
That's why it's coming back with the successor.
But
Triple
that's
M,
why, like I said, I have a feeling it's coming back.
Fallout.
coming
The
back.
entire Fallout collection should just be on Wii U.
It should have been.
Yeah.
The entire Fallout collection, just port it.
Well, remember
720p.
they laughed at the Wii U and then they still made their own Pip Boy
Yep.
peripheral. I was
They
like,
saw how much money, like, dude, like people was buying games on the Wii U. That's why I was like, I always found it funny that people bring up they only sold 14 million, but I'm like, yeah, but if you look at the attach rate,
People were
it
buying
don't make no
games.
sense.
Yeah, it was damn near 8-1.
Yeah, they were profitable.
Mm-hmm.
The two consoles that people were pimping out were not.
Exactly.
Right.
I tell people that a lot. So I had these back and forth. They're like, oh, it was a failure and they lost a lot of money. I'm like, you sure? Because Reggie was pretty clear when he said the console just has to have a 1-to-1 ratio for the system to be profitable.
Mhm.
It was never sold at a loss. And I'm pretty sure it was always above 1-to-1 the entire console cycle. So
Because people were begging for them to do a price drop and they wouldn't do it. They're like, why would they? Why would they? That doesn't make business sense.
and they still ain't doing it now. So
Yeah,
here we sit.
they are cheaper than the competition. So why would they do that?
Oh, speaking of which, since we were talking a little bit earlier, well, unofficially we were talking on Twitter. Me and Andre were about the future per se, and the fact that there's the ecosystem currently exists, right? Didn't turn out the way that I thought it did, but it ended up playing out the way that I thought it did, right? Where you have 3 different devices with the exact same OS on it, kind of like what Microsoft is doing, right?
Mhm.
That's the thing that Nintendo ended up doing successfully, and they're all the same system. Like, the saves and all the other kind of stuff transitions well. Your account system still works. It's seamless when you go from system to system. That continues going forward. I guess my question is, does Nintendo do another model that's a pillar before the successor or around the successor as well? Because you got to think they still have a whole bunch of these SoCs around, right? And Nintendo is good for, we're going to pimp out what's left in our warehouse until it's all gone.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering if they're going to like either try to reintroduce a Joy-Con or something to where they can, redo the sell the motherboards for those again, or a way to sell the Switch Lite in a different way, or sell the OG Switch and the OLEDs in a different way, in some other kind of form factor that's probably cheap. I'm thinking like $99. I'm wondering if anybody thinks that's going to be a thing, because Wii Mini existed, but it was very short-lived. So I'm wondering.
Just going off, just seeing, like, I'll give you this example, what they've been doing with the N64, the Genesis controller, the OG NES and SNES controllers. I can see that. I can honestly see that. So they still got GameCube controllers they selling.
Yes.
Mhm.
I need them to start telling us which games can use the GameCube controller. I'm tired of being surprised.
It's funny. They don't tell you. You just
They will
try
not
it
tell
and it
you.
works.
You just like, yeah, this game was on GameCube. Let me play this controller. See, dang, it does work.
So I saw a video with Spawnwave earlier, and he was reviewing ports with I guess it's Scott was.
Scout the Wise, yeah.
And I didn't know that Grid was developed with the GameCube controller in mind. Like, didn't tell nobody nothing, and they have this port of the game and analog triggers you can drive.
Yeah, that's all. Like, can y'all just tell us, please?
Let us know.
Yeah. I mean,
just put the little graphic on the
and that's the thing. Like, they have a thing right up under the size that tells you what all controller size you can use. Pro controller, the Joy-Cons, or whatever, and you're like, but y'all won't put GameCube.
Yep. It's just gonna make it a mystery.
Now let's try it out. We'll see if it works.
So I was still right on the ratio too. About 8-1. Yeah, 7.6. Yeah, you round that up. That's about 8-1 for Wii U's attach rate. Still, that's pretty high. That's extremely high.
And they were making a profit off of just one
on a failed console, supposedly. Yeah. That's definitely impressive. But I'm wondering if they'll, it's just interesting to see the different controller formats and stuff that they choose to support going forward. Whether they're legacy or not, like Nintendo just does weird shit. Like they just came out and said, "Hey, here's an N64 controller again. Also, it's wireless. We made it like cool."
Yeah.
And
you don't have to worry about the rumble.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's in the controller.
In the controller.
Yeah. All right. So can y'all put gyro in there? Dang it!
And maybe for the next console.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Now, if you put gyro in there, then the whole dual analog thing goes away. But
hey, you ain't gonna hear me complain.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's exactly why he was like, "Nah, I just go ahead. I'll play with my 64. I'll play my 64 controller."
Yeah. So I tried to do an analog Perfect Dark, and again I had the same problem I did playing the anniversary edition on Xbox. It doesn't translate well. It's kind of slow.
You have to because the way it's the emulation they use, and you have to fix that controller. You have to change your control scheme.
Yeah, and if I do all that modifying, I'm just like, nope.
Well, I found one that works for me. It's the same one that the guys that Switch Up use, and I found that to work.
But that's a lot. They did in that video.
The control scheme was they just changed ZL, ZR, and L and R.
They didn't have to go back into the system menu and change the buttons either. It's already okay.
Yeah,
well,
they took the reverse pitch off.
GoldenEye.
Yeah,
GoldenEye was bad. You had to go all the way out to the main menu and map stuff, and then go back in.
You already did the remapping for GoldenEye. All you really have to do is make sure you go into the settings and change the controller in Perfect Dark.
Yeah, so I think it's 1.2.
Yeah,
I think it's 1.2 in Perfect Dark, and
because they swapped the control schemes around. I didn't even remember that at first.
No, and you have to take reverse pitch off.
Yeah.
So, because I was like, why? Because when me and Andre were playing, like, why am I looking the wrong way? And then I'm like, oh, that's why.
Yeah. Reverse pitch only works if you're used to using the C buttons.
That one's straight up if that's your preference. That's a preference thing. But
so,
the
question:
control scheme itself, it has to be swapped.
So when we talk about control schemes and how Nintendo likes to just throw surprises on people and say, "Hey, GameCube's going to last another generation," what would we say would be like a one key feature you're looking for this next controller with the successor?
I just want paddles up under the thing, so I don't have to do that freaking clicking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you want to get rid of L3, R3, and turn them into pads?
Yeah, because a lot of the third-party controllers now, if you notice, they have up under the undercarriage, they have two controls, so you can change that and take that off. I hate clicking with sticks because sometimes I have big hands.
Inverted.
Yeah,
it happens. So instead of doing that, just do that. If you just gotta have that,
Okay.
See, me personally, I don't have a problem with having my sticks click, but I do want the paddles at the back of the controller because that's extra functions you can have.
Yeah.
I would say I want customizability. to my controller. I think the one controller that stood out to me, I think it's called like the Wolverine controller or whatever. I forget what it's called. It's like version 2 of it. But I like the fact that you can kind of swap the sticks and the buttons, or you can take them out completely and then have like the 6-button layout like we used to have with our old fight pads. So like the fact that you can, like, if I got a controller and you say, okay, cool, this controller has 40 hours, because apparently Nintendo is the only one that knows how to manage batteries and controllers.
Yeah.
but then you can also say, okay, I want my stick layout to be staggered. I want them to be at the bottom, or I want them to be at the top, and just make the controller itself customizable to where you can add the triggers in the back, whether it's 2 or 4, how many ever they want to put back there, and then also be able to adjust like the distance of the triggers. I think that's where it needs to go, because I mean the quote unquote pro controllers are doing it for like 200 plus, but I feel like Nintendo could pull it off for a pretty decent price.
8-bit those pro controllers are reasonable, and they do a very good job with that. They do a very good job with that.
What about the rumor though? What about the rumor of I think it was Miyamoto came up with, where LNR are actually
the scroll wheels?
Well, actually, that was
Sakurai.
That was Sakurai that said that, like they're scroll wheels but clickable or whatever. So
that would be cool too.
That would be cool, but it depends on what you're using it for.
It'd be insane for Doom or basically any FPS at that point.
If you're using it as a quick turn mechanism for like first person games, that'd be awesome.
It'd be perfect. You could scroll through your items that way. You can use that to kind of lean in and out of
scroll wheel. You could also use it as a scroll wheel for weapons. Yeah.
Do not get rid of my gyro. I'm too used to gyro. Do not get rid of my gyro.
I think that has to stay.
Yeah, I'm too used to it.
Microsoft need to catch up on that end.
Yeah, I've been using gyro for 3 generations now. I cannot go back.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
We either gotta have motion or gyro. You can't go without one of them.
Yeah, I need it.
I don't understand, and I don't understand why Microsoft, for whatever reason, they just really hated Bluetooth for some reason. They adopted every other standard. They adopted HDMI and Ethernet before anybody else, but for whatever reason, they were allergic to Bluetooth. And I'm like, private key on just the Xbox, and then only a computer would need that private key to be able to share or whatever, create a private key. It's not complicated. Otherwise, it's wide open, and you don't want it to be wide open because it's your controller, right? But they want to do this thing where, we're gonna have it, but also it's got to be authorized. And if it's not authorized, it's not going to work. And I'm like, I shouldn't have to hack my controller to use it on whatever I want. I shouldn't have to do that. But for whatever reason, that's what Microsoft and definitely Sony does now. Sony definitely does it because they don't want you to use anything other than the $400 fight stick they want you to have on their system. And that's their whole USB chain, which is insane to me. I'm like, nobody, first of all, is not connected to storage anymore. So I don't even know why you think USB is a threat. It's a profit thing is what it is, because anybody could just build their own peripheral and nobody wants to build it. They don't want you to build your own peripheral for free, especially if you know, hey, you know what? The old controller I used to have, if I modify the board on it, I can just plug it up to my existing system. So whenever my controller breaks that I bought the system for, I can still use my old ones and go for. Yeah, they don't want that.
Right.
They don't want you to do that at all.
So
DualShock 2 on a PS4? No, absolutely not.
Is it possible to have like resistant sticks, or is that too fragile for a controller?
The haptic feedback, I don't see why not. Like, you could just put the motor, a smaller motor, right below the stick. It doesn't have to be inside.
Yeah, because you put it inside, you run the risk of it breaking a little bit easier.
Yeah, right. You can just put it just below where the actuator is, and in that you could just, as you turn or whatever, it can give you like a little bit of resistance.
Oh man, that would feel crazy for first person shooter.
Yeah,
you just
yep. or like you playing Mario or something, and you're walking, and the closer you walk or whatever, you're close to something that's whatever that's like a dinosaur or something walking by, you can kind of feel like the rumble or whatever, or just the texture of the ground you're walking on feels different.
That'd be nuts.
Yeah. That's what I thought was coming with the Joy-Con situation. But it's not. They couldn't put it in stick. So
yeah.
I think that just came down to time and money.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a good idea, and it would enhance gaming a lot. It just came down to time and money.
Yeah, because it's just stereo sound. That's all you're doing. You're putting stereo sound as rumble feedback in a controller, and you could just make sine waves for every variable inside of a game space, and that would work well.
Well, I was thinking on the lines of kind of like when we think about the PS5 triggers, to where there's certain points to where it's harder to pull down. You have that same resistance with the stick, which I think would be nuts. Like, say for example, you just ran through some mud and it's a little bit harder for you to press up. Yeah,
that would be cool.
Because I think controllers is the next move. Graphics, you really can't do anything else with it.
Graphics, you hit the plateau too quick.
Yeah, because how you play
now. That's why, like, Iwata told everybody, like, dude, you can't sustain this because you don't have any creative ideas. And that's what we're running into. So that's why you get people getting mad when they see Echoes of Wisdom or Princess Peach Showtime, because they're like, this isn't doing anything special. Like, nah, you just saying that from a graphical standpoint. If you actually played those games, you'd be sitting up here like, okay, this is different.
So to my, well, I won't say Xbox fans, but two people that have witnessed what Xbox fans and Sony fans are in the chat. Most PS5 and Series X games are not running in 4K.
Right.
No, they're not.
They are upscaling.
There's very few games that are native.
The Series X games are not running in 4K. Check it out.
It decided to talk.
Didn't even know this phone was here, but yeah, okay. We're live. Actually, that wasn't even the phone. That was an iPad.
That's a live from Apple.
Yep.
They'll say, hey, you mentioned something. I'm going to talk about it.
Right.
Like, I didn't even say your name, girl, but okay.
That's the
gyro. Yes, we need gyro everywhere.
I've never understood that whole, because I remember when Switch first dropped, when people were saying I can't play anything that's not 60 frames a second. It hurts my eyes. I'm like, but then they was talking about movies they went to go see at the movie theater. I'm like, that's in 24 frames a second. What are you talking about?
Yep.
Like
24, 48 for the ones they spend a little bit extra for.
Yeah. Oh, this game looks great with ray tracing on. It looks so great. Are you playing 6 frames per second ray tracing on?
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh no, but okay. But I thought 30 frames per second was on play.
My eyes bleed if it's below 60.
Yeah. And it's still not 4K, but it is 4K. You sure?
Yeah.
You sure? Because
that's another thing ray tracing was alive for. It's not 4K if they ray trace.
Yeah. So all that eye scrunching you do and all that digital foundry watching you do, you don't pay attention to them when they say, "Oh, well, you know this dynamic resolution is happening on the other platforms too." You know, every other frame is not drawing. It's not drawing 2160p. It's not.
Right.
They're alternating. They're checkerboarding. They're doing all. They're still not doing it, which is crazy to me because they have the memory bandwidth to do it. It's just they're making these big ass games that are bloated and they're not taking advantage of the hardware that's in front of them.
And they're using engines that fight against the natural process of the consoles,
which is insane to me. I watched another talk on Mark Cerny yesterday, and I just heard him again. And he's surprised that so many publishers went to 60 frames per second. Because he figured that they would just jump to fidelity and cap the game at 30, because that's what most developers do. They cap at 30 so they can have the fidelity, because that's their tent pole. That's how they sell games. They're like, hey, look at this fidelity. It may not be every frame, it may not be every other frame, and every now and then texture detail pops in and out, but we have it, and it's 30 frames per second. And people jump for it because they see a vertical slice of a game, and they figure that's what the whole game is going to be like. And I'm like, you gotta play that, right? But that's what's so funny to me, and they're still not listening to him. Like, this guy designed 2 systems, and he's telling you, because you're coming from Sony hired a guy that was a game programmer and told him, build a system around how we make games.
Right.
He builds the system twice. Then he tells you this is how you should design games around what we did to build this system. And developers are like,
nah.
Nah, I'm not gonna do that.
No, absolutely not.
Like, oh, you see them rocks over there in Unreal 4? Yeah, I'm gonna just go with that.
Yeah. And they're like PS4 can do what? It has GDDR5. But you know what? It's so fast. I'm still gonna make you go make a sandwich while this game installs. And I'm like, you didn't have to do that. Because the games that he worked closely with Naughty Dog on and stuff like that, it wasn't that big of an issue.
Right.
And you have other games. I'm like, it just bothers me. Random third party game you install and just walk away. Just walk away because that's how long it's going to take for you to install the game, to start the game.
Or just go to sleep. Or just go to sleep and come back.
And I'm trying to figure out if
and wake up in the morning and
if
play.
the SSD is magic. I'm really trying to figure out why there are load times at all on PS5. There should be zero.
Because Spider-Man had us thinking that there wasn't going to be any.
Yeah.
Boy, was that a lie.
and what's so sad is like you could really make it appear like there's no load times on that system. Like they literally put DDR4 there to buffer. So you should not notice. You should not notice the change in between going from drive to RAM. You shouldn't notice. But the way they make these games, they're so bloated and they don't design them the way it's bad, man. It's bad. I'd be wanting to speak good for PS5 and developers are like, no.
So y'all ready for that 310 gigabit base Activision?
No.
Call of Duty 6? Y'all ready for that? Y'all ready for that?
I didn't drop Call of Duty years ago. So
yeah, I haven't played Call of Duty in years.
I ain't even worried about Call of Duty at this point. I'm worried about GTA 6.
Ooh, that can't be played until PS7 comes out.
There
Once
you go.
PS7 comes out, then you'll see the true power of what it can do.
The moment when entire console manufacturers have to make upgrades to their console because one game is coming out, that's
bad.
Sad.
Just put it on PC. Just put it on PC.
But look, I would be perfectly fine if GTA 6 came out and it was 60 frames per second and it was 1440p. I'd be perfectly fine with that.
You would,
but most people would not.
Twitter would not be.
The bad thing is they could do that and just not tell anyone that they did that, and they'd be perfectly fine.
As long as Digital Foundry don't say nothing. As long as they don't say nothing.
And IGN.
Yeah.
IGN just gonna pair it with Digital Foundry say so.
Yeah, or they'll pretend it's 4K until Digital Foundry says something.
Mm-hmm.
That interview was so funny. But that interview was funny. Where they talked about the whole Metroid Prime 4 Beyond thing, and they was like, I'm like, bruh, I would give Digital Foundry this. They learned from that Tears of the Kingdom VS. Oh, this has to be on a pro system because look at the clouds.
They have said that
you saw the comment out of games. You saw the comment out of and that wasn't to drag them. It was more like the awareness of your audience because if they're so tech savvy, why would they even send you that question? And it was more a stab at them too because I'm like, why did you even address that?
Shouldn't have to.
Because the first thing I'm going to do is if I know how the majority of my audience is and I've been talking to them and educating them, if I got a question like that, I'm not even going to pose that as can it really be a problem? If you know what you're talking about, the first answer is obviously it could do that. Like fucking Wii U was doing 1080p.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Like this.
But in the words of the great animated thespian Bugs Bunny, it is to laugh. So, all right, peeps, we're going to call it a show tonight. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for coming through. We appreciate you. Andre, anything you want to pimp out?
I mean, I did drop a video saying that Capcom vs. SNK collection should come to the Switch. So we know that's going to happen sometime soon. And I got a couple other things I'm working on right now. I just want to get a few videos out because I got some thoughts and I know I'm going to hurt some feelings again.
Always.
Oh, and go ahead and worry about AI before it takes over the creative scene. There's also a video I put out about that.
Ain't we according to the 90s action movies? Wasn't Skynet supposed to already become self-aware by now?
Yeah.
Look, self-aware don't mean ready to act.
Oh, okay, my bad. Sorry, I'm a few years off. I'm still waiting for my hoverboard and my hover cars, and
I mean,
my self-retracting jackets. I'm waiting on all that. Back to the Future.
Skynet went to the future, and hollered at Nimrod, and Nimrod said it wasn't gonna work, so they went all the way back to like the cave days and tried again, and it was too hot, and then the dinosaurs built them up, so they had to go back to present day, and so they're stuck being regular computers right now that we're talking about.
And right now, Nimrod messed around and talked to Bastion. Bastion got on his nerves. He's like, you brought me down to junior acting mother. He just
what
left.
Are we doing?
So, all right, Jack, anything you want to pimp out?
Man, I'm kind of going on my Andre run here pretty soon of kind of doing think pieces, and this one's kind of centered around this weird conversation that's happening with the state of VR. Like you got one end that feels like it's dead, the other side that feels like it's doing just fine, and me being kind of like, I guess you could say a casual, if you will, because I don't get caught up in the numbers, because there's a lot of guys that when they have conversations, they talking about like they're looking at the data, the details, like the systems that's being used, and a whole 9 yards. But I'm just looking at it from my perspective, and so I want to do a few videos as into where I feel like it stands when you're talking about between Meta, PSVR 2, and then even Apple with their Pro Vision, and kind of how that plays a role. And I think there's like another one getting ready to come out soon, made by the guy that initially helped make the Quest. He went off on his own tangent, so he's gonna do his own headset too. So I mean, it's an interesting space to kind of see where it's going, but it's also very interesting to see something, I guess you could say, very fresh, already take on like that console war mentality already. And so I'm gonna do a couple of videos based on that.
Okay, all right, Shadow.
Shadow's not dead. I'll have I'm working on a video right now, so it'll be up at some point, and it's just talking about more recent stuff. So, and channel update. So stay tuned. The channel will actually have some content on it. So go figure. Other than that, yeah, just keep gaming. And I don't know why, but for some reason, people just think that I'm just this corporate bootlicker because I say that Nintendo can do what they want with their intellectual property. But then whenever I post something about, like how pro worker either they are or anybody else is, then I get crickets from those same people that said I was a bootlicker. They're not.
That's about right.
And it's just interesting how that works. So I'll probably end up doing some content about that too at some point. So yeah, just stay tuned, and the quizzes are going to be on YouTube as well. I know I said that last week, but they will be on there. So just look forward and you'll see them.
All righty. As for me, we got Trails Through Daybreak dropping next week, so I am going to do some gameplay of that live on Friday. I have Friday off, so I'll probably do that sometime in the afternoon. And I meant to put some gameplay up for Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition. I will make sure that gets put up on the channel sometime this week. That'll be quietly. It'll be just the first hour. So I'll do that so you guys can see how it runs. Other than that, yeah, I don't have much. So we'll see you guys next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Peace, people.
Peace.
Deuces.